So I'm about 1 month out from another race coming up on October 15th. I think that's the date, but I'm not 100% sure. It's in Waco, Texas, and I'm super pumped to toe the line at another 70.3 triathlon. Got me thinking about a topic I'd like to cover this week on the shoe business. Welcome back to another episode. This video goes out to all the triathletes out there. We're definitely an intense bunch of folks, and we might find ourselves doing things a bit different due to the training volume in our schedules. And boy, we can find ourselves into some interesting situations. So I'm gonna start this by rewinding it to my last burnout due to accumulated fatigue. And I found myself in this really training funk. And you can catch the aftermath. I'm gonna probably put links to the two videos down in the show notes to an Ironman Texas 70.3 and Ironman World Championships in St. George, where you could see that I was basically fritzed beyond max, and you can see it in the videos, literally see it in the videos. So after St. George, I basically hung my bike up for like a year and didn't look at it. Triathlon had basically taken over my life, and I wanted to get it back, and I was exhausted. The whole experience kind of left me feeling defeated, and the volume of the training and the mental fatigue and my nervous system just felt completely rocked. Like I could not even fathom how tired I was due to the way that I was training. And it wasn't until about 6 months ago that I found triathlon again, and I fell in love again with it. And what changed? For starters, nothing. Nothing changed at all, because I realized that my love for the sport was so internalized that I could never fully remove it from my annual race schedule. I just couldn't do it. It's just so important to me, the sport. And I love racing my marathons and half marathons and everything, but there's something about the three disciplines and the balance between swim, bike, and run and the challenge that keeps me coming back for more. And the culture of the sport is just so good, and it keeps me coming back. And on the other hand, I knew something needed to change with the way that I was approaching it. I needed to rewire the way I thought about the training and the racing. So after all, we trained for like 6 months for these things to race for like half a day. So I figured, let's look at the training instead of the racing. Why give up the big payoff when you can basically objectively excavate like 6 months instead of a half of a day and see what you can change in there? So this is what I came up with, about 3 things. I didn't want to decrease the volume. I like the volume, but I just wanted to manage it better. I wanted to maintain my ability to get better, and I wanted to live in the moment and enjoy it. So here's what I did. I took a look at my job first, because I obsess about my job. And I love to work, but I work all the time, and sometimes that can become problematic, because at times I become very stressed with the job because it's not always great. You know, there's often things that break, there's problems I don't want to fix and have to fix, there's things that I got to do that I don't want to do, and I got to plan so far in the future sometimes that it's hard to live in the moment. And shit just breaks sometimes, and I got to fix it. And in these times, traditionally the training load would just become too much and send me over the edge. And I needed to basically reprioritize the way that I made my commitments, and the job is just more important than the training, pretty much. So I took a look at my personal life as well, and my family life. I'm recently married, and I needed to be there for my wife. And how often are triathletes encountering the fact that we're just too fatigued and distant to do anything, or go to movie night, or go to dinner, or stay up a little later? The struggle is real, y'all. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. We're just a little too tired to do something. So I knew I needed to reprioritize these moments and communicate with my wife better about what we're gonna do and how we're gonna dance around our training schedules, because she's about as intense as I am with her running schedule. It's wild. So we both agreed we'd support each other, and but she's got a healthy disposition about it. But nevertheless, she kind of keeps me grounded. But we decided to keep the feet down on the pedals. Now here's the magic. I knew we needed to reprioritize time around personal life and around work. So I took about 4 months before I even thought about racing. And I just worked and lived, that's it. Every moment I felt good, I sprinkled in one of the 3 disciplines. maybe a gym session and went to do a lift or something around the live work routine, not around the training routine. So I basically kept playing around with combinations and listening to my body. I swam when I wanted to swim, I biked when I wanted to get on the bike, and I ran when I wanted to run. It was that simple, you know. Found myself at the gym a little bit, doing all kinds of different things at different times, trying different cocktails out. And I've basically been doing this for months now and just kept layering things on without too much intensity. And occasionally I'll fire up the engine for like an interval session or something like that, but nothing really major, so that I don't tip the scale and get into that race mode zone. I keep things in that upper aerobic threshold zone so that I don't accumulate too much unwanted fatigue during this base phase. Maybe this is a pre-base phase though, because I've never really done anything like this where I've like started training before a training block. So here's the kicker. I just wanted to find that rhythm. So I started so early. By the time that I decided to even think about a race, like in a Waco coming up, I was already kind of rocking and rolling with this new routine and felt really fit. And I'm pretty sure that I'm fitter than I've ever been in the multi-sport realm right now. Ironman that I have on the books is in April of 2024, and the training doesn't even start until like November or December. And I'm already feeling like I'm ready to start the training. I could probably go out and do a race. It's crazy. So since I've kept the intensity low, I haven't really thought much about the accumulated fatigue, and I find myself running about 40 to 50 miles a week, cycling about 6 hours or so. And I even joined the UT swim program, the master swim program, to just have some fun and meet some new people and get out there and have a good time. The workouts have been spread out because I decided to break my work day up every once in a while because I just wasn't in the work rhythm. Found myself swimming at the lunch hour, biking a threshold session after work. Never have I kind of experimented with this cocktail before, and this has been life-changing for me, and I felt like I've literally taken my life back and started doing even things like a Sunday swim. Minor changes, but like super meaningful results. My favorite tweak in the schedule is that I decided to build around my running group as well. We have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday running group. 7 miles on Monday, 10 miles on Wednesday, 7 miles on Friday. And it's basically my social life. It's when I get to meet up with my friends. And I decided that I wasn't gonna give that up. I needed to keep that social life, and it's so good. You're probably thinking, well, duh, Mike, like, why would you do that? But I know there are some triathletes out there who have given up on these kind of obligations when we're perceiving that there's an optimized schedule or an optimized group or this or that. It's fascinating what we do when we're fatigued. So what's the subtle difference here? I'm listening to my body and my nervous system, and I'm getting brutally honest about what I'm thinking and feeling. I'm creating a schedule that I can rely on, and I'm giving up the idea that I'm rigid about, the places and times and intensities that I'm incorporating into the training routine. So if you're a triathlete out there and you're finding yourself in a funk, and I know some of you are, maybe before your next race, take 4 to 6 months and just play around with your workouts. Re-engineer your schedule based on what you're thinking and feeling, but re-engineer your schedule based off of how you're living and working. It's that simple. It's so much fun. It's so important to me that I found this. And if you're anything like me, you're gonna value it beyond measure. And it's only a few months out of your time for maybe a different way to enjoy the sport. Cheers to all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and leave any comments if you have found yourself in a funk like this, and leave your comment if you've come up with a way that you've incorporated the volume into your routine around your work-life balance, and I'd love to hear from it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. Thank you so much for the motivation and the kudos in the last video. There was such a warm and open and welcome and motivating sentiment coming from the comments. Thank y'all so much. I'm having a blast doing this. Sorry for the shadows. I tried to bring it outside today, trying some new equipment, doing my thing, living one day at a time, training like I want to train, eating like I want to eat, living like I want to live, loving like I want to love. Thank y'all so very much for following along. We'll see you next time. Adios for now.